Today I'm going to do 5 more Netflix shows that you guys need to watch. I'm a little bit obsessed with Netflix, and when it comes to shows, I tend to binge watch them until they're over. I'm not going to watch a new show until one's done. If you're new, my name's Tiana. Make sure to go check out all my social medias. I have a list of shows, so I'm going to tell you guys my top 5, and then I'll do a part 4 very soon. So number 1 is going to be Million Pound Menu. I really like this one because a bunch of these little restaurants would do pop-up shops, and then these investors would go listen to their plans and see if their company was actually worth investing in and if they could make like the next McDonald's, something like that. And it was really interesting because the different types of food companies, like some of them were like burger companies, some of them were trying to be like a healthy vegan thing, some of them were trying to be like the next McDonald's, and it was really cool. And what I liked was they would do pop-up shops, and you were able to see what like the customers thought about it, how many customers they were going to get, how many food sales they were getting, and then you really started to see if the investors were interested or not. At the end of the video and at the end of the day for them, the investors would have 10 minutes to come back after their final like dinner time, and if the investor shows up by 6:30 or 8 o'clock, then they got a deal. If they didn't show up, then they don't have a deal. It's really fun to watch. It's really interesting. It's such a different show, and to me, cooking shows are either very interesting and very fun to watch or very dull and repetitive, and this one wasn't. I really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for something fun to watch that's a cooking show and like investing type of show, this is a really good show for you. Number 2 I'm going to tell you is Shark Tank. I love Shark Tank. It just came on Netflix, I believe, season 6, 7, and 8. I think I'm on season 7. I love Shark Tank. Now, it does get repetitive just because it's like the same thing, but I love it. You get to see different companies, you get to see different people's inventions, what people are thinking, and I love it. I love when the sharks argue, and sometimes there's these funny points. Let's say you made a hair mask, okay, and you wanted to make your company, and you say, I want you to give me $1 million for 5% of my company because I think I'm going to sell a ton of this. And then it's like yes or no, and I think there's 5 or 6 sharks at once. My favorite's Lori. I like a lot of them, but I really like her. The investments that she picks are similar to things that I would like to try. Sometimes like Mr. Wonderful makes me so mad. If you've ever watched Shark Tank, then you can kind of get where I'm going with this, but I just love it. It's something so interesting, and then it's so weird because you'll be sitting there, it's like, oh, Eva NYC's on there promoting their product. It's like, I've actually seen that before. It's so cool. It is so interesting. It's fun to watch, and sometimes you sit there thinking, great for you for starting your own business, being an entrepreneur and everything, but really? So that's definitely number 2. Number 3 is going to be How to Get Away with Murder. I should have started with this one. How to Get Away with Murder is the best show, and I've watched crime shows since I was younger, and then I had to stop because it got so repetitive. Crime shows, to me, it's always the same thing, or it's too dragged on. That's the same with like Pretty Little Liars. Like anything with that type of field, I find can get really dragged on. To me, this one didn't. I watched so many seasons, 4 seasons, 5 seasons, so many seasons. I watched them all within a month. Like I was obsessed with that show. I loved it so much. So if you're looking for a really good show to watch, How to Get Away with Murder is a really good show. Basically, it's this group of like 5 students, and then there's like a lawyer, an assistant, and another assistant lawyer, and How to Get Away with Murder. I'm not going to say any more because if I start saying one thing, it leads into another, and it's giving way too much away. But you definitely need to watch that show. Next up is Good Girls. You need to watch this. It's hilarious. It is so funny. It's these 3 moms who are put in these shitty situations, and they all have kids, and they go rob a grocery store, and then they start doing these illegal activities just so that they can like afford what they need to afford for their kids. They're doing it all for their kids. and it has a really similar spin-off to Weeds. If you've ever watched Weeds, and if you liked Weeds, you'd probably like this. But this show is so funny. It's really funny. I really love it. Like, they went and robbed a grocery store because they wanted the money. Then they went and started driving along and importing these counterfeit. They went and started like bringing these counterfeit like money. They went and imported counterfeit money into the States so that they could get some money. It's so funny. I laughed so much, and you really start to feel for these moms. I wish season 1 was a lot longer than it was, and I can't wait for season 2. Number 5 is Zumbo's Just Desserts. That show, it's slow. It is repetitive in itself. That's the way to put it. But it's so fun to watch because you start to feel for these characters, and I get so, not characters, but these contestants, and I get so mad because so-and-so is still in there. I don't even want to say who won, but I am just like over the top, still kind of, why did she win out of all the people? And it made me so mad, but it was a fun show, and his desserts that he creates, I don't even know how to do. So what they come up with are these crazy desserts, and then his dessert at the end, like the challenge, if you lose and you have to go home, his is like a Willy Wonka thing. Like, it's crazy. It's this hat floating in midair. Like, what? I can't believe it. So if you've never watched Zumba's Just Desserts, it's hard to get into, but after the first episode, it was a little bit easier, and I started to really enjoy it, so I think you would also. So that's about that for my top 5 Netflix shows. I love Netflix shows, and I can't wait for these shows to continue on because I feel like they're going to be a lot better. I can do a part 4 if you would like. Again, I don't want to get too into these shows because I really want you guys to watch them, so I hope that me explaining them is enough for you. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.